This is Charleston's retirement coach, Brandon Bowen.
All the confusing, conflicting information that we get, Brandon, every single time we open up our phones or get on the internet. Here comes one story, and then it literally can be a matter of moments when you're surfing the web and you come across another directly conflicting headline from what feels like reliable sources on both ends.
Yeah.
This story that I want to get your insight on. Tony Robbins, a name so many people, we've talked about him here on this radio program before about things that he's said and done that we agree with. He's a smart guy.
I love him. Yeah, great guy.
Personal finance guru. A lot of people see him as such. Here he comes giving us conflicting, at least in my opinion, conflicting information. Tony Robbins is saying, you need this investment in your portfolio. And he is saying that it is bonds, Brandon.
So he's saying everybody.
Everybody. He says, and I quote, Tony Robbins calls bonds, quote, the foundation of a mind-blowing portfolio that works in all economic climates.
Oh, boy.
We've talked about bonds before and how lately in the past few years, some financial professionals will say bonds are dead money in your portfolio, Brandon. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this thought from Tony Robbins?
Geez, I mean, I would, anytime you see some broad brushed.
A la the line, in all economic climates.
Yes. You'd be like,
That's when the red flag should go up?
Yes,
okay,
yes. For me, yeah. When I hear someone giving financial advice and saying all, right? I mean, just quick rebuttals would be, well, what about, and he said in all climate,
right,
economic climates. What about in 2022 when stocks and bonds, everything went down? So my opinion on this, I do like his heart of saying, because what he's basically trying to say, I feel like, is people need some safety in there. And maybe he was talking about retirees, I don't know, or people later, second half of your life kind of stuff, once you've saved some money. And if your goal is to maybe maintain a higher balance because maybe you need some income, whatever. But, my problem with it was, what if, what if you're talking to a 30-year-old? Someone who is just starting out, maybe you listening, you have kids that are getting their jobs and they're saving. You finally got them getting going in their 401k.
Yeah.
They do not need bonds in there.
Got it.
If they've got another 30 years here, they don't need, a defensive bond holding in there, right? They need to pursue growth. And then once they start closing in on their exit down the road, yes, okay, now we call a timeout. We start looking at that stuff. So I do like, I guess what he's trying to say is maybe he's speaking to people who have money, who might be on that second half of retirement of life and nearing or in retirement. So that's my problem, I would say, with this, Heather, is that's blanket advice.
Okay.
We have talked about this before on the show with like some Dave Ramsey comments or Susie Orman, blanket statements that might or might not be applicable. It might be like saying, okay, everyone needs term life insurance. Well, maybe when you're young, you need some term life insurance.
Well, like me and my husband, we both have careers. We don't have children. We don't have dependents.
That's right.
So term life insurance is not something that we've looked at.
And a lot of times as you get older, you start dropping when that 20-year term expires, you let it go, Everyone needs compression socks. Well, no, young people don't need compression socks.
Oh, okay, they feel so good, though. Says the 46-year-old woman. Oh, I love mine. They're so good.
Right. So there you go. So you can't just make blanket statements. But what I would say is that I do agree, with kind of what he's saying, that let's maybe focus in and zero in here. Now I want to speak to you listening if you're 55 and above. Okay.
Yep.
Or above. 55 and older, 60, 65. Okay. Then yes, your portfolio, in most cases, you should have a good bit of defensive, low risk, or even safe investments. And I would say even 40 to 60% of your portfolio should be low risk. Okay.
But not necessarily bonds.
Correct.
Because he's saying bonds. You're saying
yes,
add security.
Yes. So
You're
I
saying
would
reduce risk.
That's correct. I would say that, I would then call this maybe a little outdated advice.
Okay.
Okay. And that might be just, what you would expect from someone who maybe, is a motivational speaker, not really a financial advisor.
Right.
Is they might just be kind of saying, okay, just stocks and bonds. Or when people say, get some mutual funds, I'm like, that's old. Don't call them mutual. There's ETFs. There's exchange traded funds that are, lower cost. They're better for the investor.
Funds, but not just mutual funds.
That's right.
Okay,
right.
Got it.
Yeah, exchange traded, indexes. Don't buy mutual funds because there's usually a lot of hands in the cookie jar and extra costs and expenses in there.
Got it.
So yes. So if you know that, or you're feeling like, I might have some outdated advice going on, or I need a second opinion going on. Let me give you my number real quick here. Pick up your phone, shoot us a quick call or a text. That number is 843-890-2400. 843-890-2400. You can text the word playbook, and that tells Tanya, she's standing by right now, that will tell her exactly what you're looking for, and she'll text you right back or call you right back, see if there's a good time to set up a quick conversation. But, a great example of this with some clients who became clients just recently. Okay. This was like just 2 months ago.
Okay.
And so their story has some heartbreak in it here. So he had worked about 20 years, okay, at a major grocery store chain. And if you've been here in Charleston for, I'd say 10 years or longer, you're going to know who I'm talking about here. But there was a big scandal, and all of their 401k completely went under. Okay. For like all of their employees, it went down 97%. There's lawsuits and stuff. So these clients of mine, they lost everything. They lost $700,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No.
It was mismanaged. The 401k, the retirement it was heavy in the grocery store company stock, and the stock went under, and then there was a run on the money, and it's awful.
Wow.
So number one, that happened to them, about 10 years ago. Okay. So that's the first thing.
Okay.
Well, then you can just imagine him, because I could hear it in his voice and how serious he was. He was so embarrassed, if you will, ashamed, all these words, to tell your wife, to say, like, honey, this is what's happened. It's not my fault, but we're in this together, and here's where we're at, and he put his head down, worked so hard for the next 10 years up to this point. Now he's grown back 620,000.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I stopped him right there, and I was like, can I just say congratulations,
yes.
Number one. Number two, I cannot believe that you're in here talking to me, potentially trusting someone else with your money.
Right.
I'm getting
After being
goosebumps
burned
right
so
now
bad.
as I talk about this.
Yeah.
And so, so he's just trying to do the right thing for his wife, to plan for their retirement. And he's not blaming anybody. He's like, it's now my responsibility. I'm taking full responsibility for this. I know my limitations. I know where I need help, here, and I've savings, not easy, but it's kind of like you set it and forget it, and just keep putting in as much as you can and things. But now at retirement, he's past 70, and he's still working because of what's happened.
Got it.
Now, luckily, he loves what he does. He gets to drive around. He does a lot of the big commercial refrigerant freezers and stuff. And so he loves the energy and, always on the go, that kind of thing.
Good.
But, we came in and we sat down, and I put a plan together for him. And he was like, he loved it. He said, this looks exactly what I want. But Brandon, this is just a really, really tough thing for me to say yes.
Got it. Understandably.
Like,
yeah.
I get it.
Totally get it.
In fact, I don't even want you to say yes right now. You go home. You guys pray about this.
Yes.
Go talk about it. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. So they did. They left. And then a week later, they called back and they said, Brandon, we've decided to do it. We trust you. We want to implement everything you showed us. It made complete sense. You showed us how your customized retirement game plan, how this thing's going to work, how I can retire if I want to. I don't want to right now, but if I wanted to, I can see how we are going to be okay. We're not going to run out of money. We can hit the finish line here. We can do the things we want to do. He just wants to keep working, right? But one of these things, I'm passing up what I want to talk about here. Okay. One of the things were the bonds in there, right? So he had in his 401k were some of these bonds that were just underperforming.
Got it.
I showed him, I pulled up the ticker symbols. I'm like, look, this is what you're in right now. Do you see how it's holding you back? you're dragging an anchor here. You're in a sailboat trying to sail across the harbor here, and you're like, you're dragging your anchor.
Got it.
Because these bonds here, because there's more efficient ways, I believe, that you can get, nice defensive positioning, even safe investments, protected investments there, potentially higher gains, growth potential, right? So I showed him there's just more options than the old stocks and bonds strategies there, right?
Yeah.
So we were able to reduce that cost for them, give them higher growth potential, and even reduce his risk for the overall portfolio. So we reduced his risk and had higher growth potential. They were just loving it. They were like, this looks amazing, looks almost too good to be true. But their big thing was trust. Seeing the plan that we laid out for them, and then stepping over that big hurdle of trust again. And I'm so honored and grateful that they did. But for you listening, I mean, you've got your own specific situation going on, your own concerns, your own hesitations.
Yeah.
I get it. You've been listening to the show. Maybe this is your very first week, or you've listened for years. I've been doing this almost 8 years now. And you might have heard me all along the way. And maybe the time wasn't right back then, but it probably is right now. Maybe you're still doing it yourself, or maybe you have an advisor, but you want to get that second opinion. Just to make sure, a second opinion on your wealth, just like you get a second opinion on your health. Let me take another set of eyeballs on what you're doing. Maybe I can make some recommendations. You take it back to your current person and you continue that relationship. Or maybe I'll show you some recommendations and you might go, hey, these look like what I knew had to be out there. I just didn't know where to look or who to turn to.
Right.
So let me offer you this second opinion. If you're 55 or above and have saved $500,000 or more, now is the time to pick up your phone. Pick up your phone, give us a call, or shoot a quick text. My number is 843-890-2400. 843-890-2400. You can text the word playbook to Tanya. She's standing by right now. We have set aside 5 appointment slots. We do that every week for radio listeners. 5 slots. I would love for you to call or text right now and grab one of those. 843-890-2400.
Thanks for listening to Charleston's Retirement Coach Podcast with Brandon Bowen. To learn more, visit bowenwealth.com and join Brandon for his radio show, Charleston's Retirement Coach, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 94.3 WSC.
Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if J. Brandon Bowen is licensed in your state, please call 843-203-2030. J. Brandon Bowen is an investment advisor representative of Bowen Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. J. Brandon Bowen is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Bowen Wealth, LLC, insurance licensed in South Carolina. Market Guard is a registered investment advisor with the SEC and provides model portfolios only to Impact Partnership Wealth. Market Guard makes no implied warranties or representations and is not liable for any data presented.